In this video, you'll learn how to use Jupyter Lab with notebooks within Google Cloud AI platform, step by step. By the end, you'll be able to access a notebook within which to query from a BigQuery public dataset and back up the code to GitHub. Hi everyone, I'm Lian. Welcome to Just Into Data, where data science materials are shared and made simpler for you. Here is the Google Cloud Platform website, cloud.google.com. As you can see here, new customers get $300 in free credits to spend on Google Cloud, and all customers get free usage of 20 plus products. If you're a new user, you should see this button says Get Started for free. You can click it and register with your Gmail account. I've already signed up, so I'll just click here to go to the console. After signing up, you should be able to get into the Google Cloud Platform console like this. Now we are ready to use it. There are so many different services offered by the platform. You may view them through this navigation menu. For our purpose, we'll focus on the AI platform here. You can click this to access it, or a faster way is to type in the Search Products and Resources bar, AI Platform. You can see both the classic AI Platform and AI Platform Unified. The Unified is a combination of the classic AI Platform and other auto machine learning functions. For our video, you can use either, so we'll select AI Platform Unified. If this is your first time accessing it, you need to enable the platform. There are different things we can do in AI Platform, and we'll try out notebooks here. So clicking this will bring us to the AI Platform notebooks. We can create and use Jupyter Notebooks with the notebook instance. A little bit knowledge about instances. The instance here is referring to a virtual machine hosted on Google's infrastructure. And we can use virtual machine instances like how we use physical computers. And the notebook instance here is an instance that's prepackaged with Jupyter Lab and other machine learning packages such as NumPy, Pandas, and scikit-learn, so it is convenient to use. Alright, so let's click on New Instance to create a new one. You can see a long list of options. There are Python 3, TensorFlow, PyTorch, R, and so on. You can even customize the instance by this option here. We'll keep it simple by selecting Python 3, so include scikit-learn, Pandas, and more. Now we can see this window to create a new notebook instance. We can give it a name, say Notebook Demo. For the region and zone, we have different options. These are specific geographical location where we are going to run the resources. This depends on your need for specific projects. For now, you can just select the one closest to you for better network performance. I'm just going to leave it as the default. For the instance properties, we can see the environment is Python 3, also machine type, disk, and so on. You can modify them by clicking this pen here. I'll just leave them as they are for this example. At the end, you can also see your estimated cost based on the selection. To reduce the cost, it is important to stop or delete the instance when it is not in use. Then we'll click Create to create this notebook instance. We can see that it's spinning and working on it. It will take a couple minutes. When it's ready, you can see this Open Jupyter Lab link. Let's click and open it. It will come up in another window. If you've used Jupyter Lab before, this is the interface that you should be familiar with. The notebook instances with Google Cloud is integrated with GitHub, so we can easily sync the notebooks with a GitHub repository, which is a convenient way to save and back up the work. So before creating any notebooks, let's link to a GitHub repository. First, we need to go to our GitHub account. You can either use an existing repository or you can click here to create a new GitHub repository. We'll put repository name as GCP for Google Cloud Platform Demo. We'll also initialize this repo with a README file. Within the README file, you can write a long description for the project. This helps others to understand what your project does, why it is useful, and so on. So it's always a good practice to do so. Then at the end, we can click here to create our repository. Then we'll select Code here and click this button to copy the address to this repo. Now going back to our notebook instance, you can select the directory under which we want to clone the repository. I'll just stay here, the home directory of this notebook instance. Click this button, Git clone. Then in this window, we need to enter the clone URL of the repo, which is the address we just copied. So I do Ctrl-V to paste it, hit the clone button. There it is. We've just cloned the repo GCP demo successfully into our notebook instance. Let's click this folder to open its directory. Under this directory, we'll click Python 3 to create a new notebook. You can see this new notebook named and titled here. Let's rename it as GCP demo. So we have made some changes to this cloned Git repo. We've added a notebook to it. How can we update the change to the actual GitHub repo? We can click this button of Git on the left. You'll see this notebook GCP demo appearing under the M track category. We can click the plus sign here to track this file. Now it is under the staged category. To commit it, we can write some description here. Say added new notebook. Then click commit. In this new pop-up window, you can enter your GitHub account name and email address. Click OK. You should see this success message saying committed changes. But don't forget we have to push this change to the repo as well. So we can click this little cloud icon here to push committed changes. In this new pop-up window, you need to enter your username and password or personal access token. Then just hit the OK button. You should see a success message that says Git push completed successfully. We can dismiss this. Now going back to the GitHub repo, let's refresh it. There it is, the new notebook we've added. We've successfully updated the GitHub repo with the information from the notebook instance on Google Cloud. Great! Now we are ready to work in the new notebook. We'll explore how to install extra Python packages in the notebook instance, as well as querying a BigQuery public dataset. So what are the Python packages installed already in this instance? We can type in %, pip list. This % here is the syntax for the magic command for a line of code. If you run this, there you go. This is a long list of packages. But what if we want to see if a particular package is installed? We can directly try to import it. Let's try import pandas as PD. It works. Let's also try import XGBoost. That didn't work. There's no module named XGBoost. To install it, we can do the magic command %, pip install XGBoost and run it. Please note that in our local computer, we often use a command line environment to install packages because we only have to install it once, and then the package will stay on our local computer. But for a cloud notebook instance like this, it is better to have the command for installation in the notebook. Every time we restart an instance or share with others, it will be a different virtual machine instance, so that we can quickly run the same code to install the needed packages again. So it looks like now it's installed successfully. Let's try to import XGBoost again. It works. We're not going to use this library in this video, but I just want to show you how to install a package. Next, let's explore how to connect to BigQuery and query a public dataset within it. We can go back to the Cloud Console. In the search box, type in BigQuery and then select it. So what is BigQuery? It is a data warehouse that's especially good for large amount of data, where you can upload, store, and use standard SQL to query for data. It also hosts over 200 public datasets from different industries for us to explore. In this video, we'll focus on a dataset for San Francisco trees. Within this BigQuery Explorer, let's search for it. It said found 0 results. We need to click the Browse and Search to all projects so that it will search in projects that's not pinned. There it is. It is under the BigQuery public data. We can click and expand it. There's the table called Street Trees. We can again click it and view its schema with the columns information and so on. I won't go into details of this dataset. Within BigQuery, we can click Query here to query this table in this interface, but our goal is to query the data in our notebook instance. So let's just copy the SQL code here and go back to the notebook instance. In a new cell, we'll type in magic command $, BigQuery to access BigQuery. The 2% here is the magic command for this entire cell of code. Then we'll paste the SQL code we just copied from the Cloud Console. It says select space from BigQuery public data, San Francisco trees, street trees, limit 1,000. Let's add star here to select everything and limit it only to 15 rows. So we're using the cell magic BigQuery to run a SQL query to return results in the notebook. If we run this should be returning the first 15 rows from the street trees table. We can see that each row stores information about a street tree in San Francisco. There's ID, species, plant date, and so on. Next, let's grab a summary table for different species of trees. In another new cell, we can again do 2%, BigQuery, space, followed by a name, say df tree. This will return the query results as a pandas data frame named df tree. Then we'll paste the same SQL code, change it to select species, count of star, name this count as num for number of tree, minimum of plant date as min plant date, and maximum of plant date as max plant date. Still from the same table of street trees, then instead of limit, we'll group by species. Let's run this. This has saved the group data by species as a pandas data frame named df tree. Now let's call df tree to take a look. There it is, with different species and number in each species together with the min and max plant date. Alright, that's it. The rest of the data analysis process should be familiar for you. If not, feel free to check out our Python for Data Analysis with Projects course. I'll put a link in the description below. Don't forget to commit and push any changes to GitHub if you want to save the work, as we've shown earlier. I won't do that since I don't need to save this code. Once we're done exploring, you can go to the Running Terminals and Kernels tab and shut down the notebook process, and then close this notebook page. But this is not over yet. To avoid extra charges, let's go back to the Cloud Console. You'll need to delete the notebook instance as well, so back to AI Platform. Then under the Notebook tab, we can select this instance. There's also an option to just stop it. Note that if you don't want any extra charges for this instance, you must delete it rather than stop it. Otherwise, Google might still charge you for the disk attached to this instance. I don't need this instance anymore, and I don't want any extra charges, so I'll delete it and confirm the choice. This will take a couple minutes. And now it's all done. Did you learn something new in this video? If so, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just click the subscribe button below this video right now. If you're interested in more data science tutorials and courses, please head over to our website justintodata.com. Now turn over to you. Have you tried to use a notebook on Google Cloud? What's your experience with it? Let us know by leaving a comment below. Thank you and see you in the next video.